Hello, everybody. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of January 9th. 1-9. Big week. This is a big week. Astrologically, there was a Kazemi on Tuesday. There's some alignments happening today that are supposed to be really telling, really beautiful, really revealing. And the Chariot, right? We had that card this first week, and it was the sense of the inhale before the bounce, before the exhale, before the pounce. And there's something about you recentering in your power this past week and where that leaves you now. And I pulled the King of Swords for us, and it just felt super clear. It felt like words. It felt like clear words. So is that going to come from you? Is that going to come from the outside? I don't know. But these feel like big words. I guess the best way to say it. It feels like big words. It feels like words that create change. So words that create healing, or words that create an uproar, or words that create a new spark, or words that create understanding, or words that inspire. But this week ahead, you're going to notice the words. I don't know how else to say it. The King of Swords, when we think about him from like an academic standpoint, he's such beautiful energy because he holds this connection between the spiritual world and the material world. He has a kind of mediumship quality to him, a kind of channel quality to him. And we like him. Well, a couple things. One, he's a little uncomfortable, right? He's a little bit of an air creature. He's a creature that would like to move a little more nimbly, be a little less attached, be a little more fluid. And there's something about the earth, the weighing down, the responsibility that weighs heavy on his heart. So you just want to recognize that this is an energy of someone who can navigate the world, who has a certain level of mastery, but at the same time, there's a part of them that wants to drift away. So we praise him. We praise the King of Swords for staying when it's difficult. We praise the King of Swords for finding the language when it's hard, for having the difficult conversation, for being willing to stay with the practice of translation, to stay with the practice of, I have a sense of something and I would like to define it via language, via thought. I would like to clarify the energy. So we appreciate that about him. We also appreciate about him that he's not the Queen of Swords. So we love the Queen of Swords. That girl, she's clear, clear, clear. She can be harsh. The thing I say about the Queen of Swords is that in her realm, there is no gray area. You are in or you're out, like very old school Project Runway. But you're either in or you're out. It's black and white. There's no gray area. There's no pondering. There's no consideration. There's no take in the other circumstance or take in the context of what's happening. It either works for her or it doesn't. And there's something beautiful about that, but also kind of inhuman, harsh, tough. Like she's a tough cookie. And sometimes we need that clarity, that decisiveness. But 90% of the time, we need to be a little bit more nuanced about our perspective on the world, and nothing is exactly black and white. Everything has a little bit of a gray area. What's happening around the thing you're deciding about. And the King of Swords, you see how his sword is kind of tilted because he's bringing his humanity to his clarity. So we like that. We appreciate that about him. All of the swords energy move quickly. So again, what we appreciate about the Queen of Swords is that she's steady. We can trust her to stay with her decision, stay with what's true, stay with her clarity. The King of Swords, there's a little bit of a wobble in him, which is beautiful because it brings compassion, it brings humanity, it brings gray area, it brings context. But we don't love the wobble because we're also turning to him for truth and for clarity and for inspiration. And so the wobble can make us feel unsafe, or it can feel inconsistent, or it can feel not like a lie, but like couching the truth, giving it to you in a way that feels a little more palatable. They can be so concerned with how you receive the truth, how you receive the message, that they lose something in translation, something gets lost in translation. But really, the message this week feels really clear. This is a week for conversation. This is a week for sharing your words, either out in the world with other people. It's a week for hearing what other people have to say. there's something important about the words exchanged. They feel big. They feel like they are determining what's next. And again, when I pulled like clarifying cards, I pulled the star, the tower, the moon. So this is like big words when it comes to your healing. This is big words when it comes to resetting your foundation. This is big words when it comes to your dreams, what you need clarity around, what you need information around. So I think it's going to hit all of us differently, but notice what conversations come up this week. Notice the conversations you're having. Notice who's trying to speak to you. Maybe be a little bit more King of Swords about it. So one of the things that's come up, I guess it must be coming up in Mystic Rising right now, like permission to do it imperfectly. We really have to forgive ourselves for not having all the answers all the time. The Queen of Swords, there's no hesitation. There's no backtracking. There's no reconsideration. The King of Swords, again, he has a wobble to him, which we can have mixed feelings about, but we also can appreciate the fact that he's willing to stay with the conversation when it gets awkward, when it gets uncomfortable, when it doesn't quite make sense. He has this dedication, this devotion to understanding and translation that is pretty unique in the tarot. So just recognizing there might be a part of you that needs to come at things with a little bit more of a beginner's mind. Oh, that's where that came up. So in the monthly reading, Earthworm was under, the deck was at the bottom of the deck, and there was just this idea of the Earthworm energy in the Kim Krantz Wild Unknown Animal deck is this energy of beginner's mind. So let yourself do it badly. Let yourself do it imperfectly. Let yourself try to communicate something that you might not have the exact precise words were for. So like trust the fact that there's something to be said in the effort. There's something about getting it out. And if the Chariot energy from this past week was like a drawing in, the exhale before you launch the arrow, this is the week where the arrows get launched. So this is the week where the conversations happen, the words happen. And I'll be curious how much foresight and planning goes into that versus how much it just surprises you and even surprises the people who come to you. Wow, 4 major arcana cards. 5 major arcana cards. So I pulled 3 cards, and the bottom of both decks are both major arcana. So I think this might be an important week. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what these big words are. I don't know what these conversations are, but they feel determinate and they feel, healing, but also they wake something up in you. They wake up some kind of fire in you. Curious about that. And so be open to the conversation. Be willing to try to communicate something you might not be 100% clear on. Be willing to be patient with your own wobble and be patient with the wobble of those around you. So there's something about just also coming back to the fact that it's a Wheel of Fortune year. You're going to be tired of me saying that by the time the year ends, but there's something about letting things reveal themselves. The 9-year required effort on your part. It required effort to stay with yourself. The Wheel of Fortune year, it really is the universe kind of bringing you along or bringing you onto a new path or bringing you into new environments, new communities. So it makes sense that there's going to be conversations that might be new for you, that you might not be sure how to handle. And come back to the basic practice. We come back to the basic practice of you don't owe anyone an answer right away. You don't need to rush and be reactive. That ability to notice when you're holding your breath, particularly when it comes to important conversations, notice that I'm holding my breath, saying to myself, even when my nervous system is having its experience, I'm safe right now to take a full breath. Trying to take that breath. You're not always going to get there, but like trying to give yourself that spaciousness for one full breath, it is everything. It's a space of miracles. Like things can change. Your whole system can shift. The whole environment can shift from that breath. And I've been saying that for a long time. And I heard this woman, I put it on my Instagram, talking about how atoms or the electrons make the quantum leaps. And she said they make it because of the spaciousness. So they don't make it from force. They make it by sitting with the spaciousness, and they disappear and reappear. That's what a quantum leap is in the actual physics term. It's the way that the particle is here and then it appears in the new place, but no one knows where it goes. It kind of disappears back into the field for a moment. That's the breath. That's the pause. That's the hold on. I need to create spaciousness here. I need room to breathe here. And you give that to yourself. You're saying to yourself and the universe, I can trust me with me. So you're saying to yourself, I'm safe. You're saying to yourself, I'm going to stay with you even when it's uncomfortable. Those messages do such magical things to your nervous system, and even such magical things like physics-wise. Every spiritual faith that says focus on the breath, that can feel like, oh my God, I'm so bored of that conversation. And yet, coming back to the breath is a masterclass. Like every time you do it, something important is happening. So the King of Swords is going to ask you to be prepared to translate and express and understand and have compassion. And at the end of the day, the King of Swords is really seeking the truth for you in dynamic, in conversation, and in the Wheel of Fortune year. The truth is something that is like you're resonating with, like you're moving towards places, people, experiences that feel more aligned and therefore more true, more right on time. So that's what I got for you. If I had to say some big words this week, I don't have any big conversations planned. I'll let you know. So it'd be interesting if you have conversations planned, know that they matter. So if you have instinct around them mattering, they do. And not to put pressure on yourself, but to bring patience to the conversation. You don't have to have it worked out. You don't have to have the solution already. This is not a Queen of Swords week. This is a King of Swords week. What do I feel is true? How do I give my best effort at communicating that? How do I do my best effort at receiving what's true for you and pausing and seeing what happens as we kind of pause and try to work something out together? Yeah, that's what I would say. Okay. Happy week ahead. Take good care of yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. And, breathe, breathe, breathe. And if you can, be kind with your words. Be kind to the way you speak to yourself and also to the way you speak to others. We're trying to create new things that are planted in a field of love and compassion and humanity, not planted in a field of cruelty or trying to win or trying to get it right at the expense of our heart, if that makes sense. Okay. Check you later. Bye.